Now in Notes, you can have your handwriting automatically get cleaned up. You can record audio sessions that get transcribed live. You've got the ability to highlight typed text. And now you can also collapse and expand note sections. In Freeform, you can now navigate boards easier with scenes. And in Files, you can now format external drives without needing a Mac. You can now really change up the look and feel of your home screen. Control Center got a lot more customizable as well. The new Calculator Notes feature will work out your handwritten equations for you. There's dynamic wallpapers and lots more. Let's get into it. Hey, it's Chris. The iPadOS 18 public beta is officially here. And today I'm going to share with you the coolest new features that I think, if I were you, I would want to try first. With a particular focus on the new productivity features, which I'm enjoying, so I think you will as well. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed my Learning to Be Productive course and you're looking for something new to dig into, then you might want to pre-order my next course, which teaches you how to turn regular old iPhone footage that looks and sounds like this straight out of the box with no professional knowledge or settings applied into something that looks and sounds a lot more professional like you see here. In fact, this entire video is shot using nothing but an iPhone. The new course is called Pro iPhone Video Essentials. And if you pre-order today, you're also going to get my Learning to Be Productive course thrown in absolutely free. All right, let's get serious about showing off these new features. And we're going to start with my absolute favorite. It's called Smart Script, and we'll use AI to smooth out your handwriting, make it more legible in real time as you go. So here I am in Apple Notes, and let's just give this a try. Let's see how it works. We're going to let it do its thing, and you can see that it makes that look a lot nicer. Let's go ahead and say, hey, it's Chris. I'm kind of trying to write a little bit sloppy here. All right, so there we go. I wrote out a bit of a paragraph here, and now we're gonna get into what's really cool. So you can actually grab this text here, highlight it, and you can say refine. And it did some refining already, but it just kind of gave it an extra pass. So check this out. I'm gonna take my pencil and just kind of grab and hold here in front of the word look, and I'm gonna drag it and make some space for myself to add some extra text that wouldn't have fit otherwise, which is awesome. So that doesn't just work with the pencil or the pen, that's actually gonna work with the crayon. Here it is with the fountain pen as well, although that already looks pretty clean, but it even makes that look better. I mean, that does absolutely look better. The whole point of this, from my perspective, is that now you can go in and be really quick about your notes, and you don't have to worry about making them presentable as much as just getting down the information that you want to get down, and then let Apple take care of how it looks. Now you can see if you're a little too sloppy, it's highlighted this word. It's not sure. Did you mean take? I could say, yeah, I meant take. And then it will actually go ahead and put that in. But that's not all that's cool and new in Notes in iPadOS 18. Look how colorful this document is. This is an outline that I made, and you can see I've added some highlights to the typed text here. Now, typically when you think about highlighting stuff on the iPad, you're thinking with the Apple Pencil and that highlight tool. This is totally new. If you need to make things stand out, you can grab some text, go up to this A formatting option up here, and see this little colored dot? I can go in and change the color that I want to highlight stuff. So for instance, I could say mint, and then that pencil next to it will let you do that even quicker. So if I highlight this and go back up here to the formatting options and hit that pencil, it just turns it mint again. So there's the color picker, but once you dial in the color, then you can just rapid fire highlight stuff in that color until you want to go in and change it up. And you can see immediately how much more readable this document is. I can really scan and find things that are important. In this case, I've actually highlighted some of the headers. So that alone has made Apple Notes feel a lot more capable. But then check this out. These headers can now actually be expanded and collapsed. That's something that, a lot of different Notes apps have had over the years. But now that it's here in Apple Notes, wow, does it make things so much better. The reason that that's useful is obviously if you're creating an outline or something and you need to navigate back and forth between different sections quicker, well, you're now gonna be able to do that. And you can just focus on certain pieces of a document at a time without getting lost. But there's something else that iPadOS 18 brings to Notes, and that's live transcription of audio. So I'm gonna go into my note here, I got a blank note. I'm gonna tap on that attachment there, and I'm gonna say record audio. But up in the top right, you see kind of a quote looking icon. I'm gonna tap on that. And if I start recording here, you can see it starting to type as I'm actually speaking. So this is gonna be great if you're in a meeting and you wanna catch everything going on. If you're in class and you wanna hear everything the professor is saying. Basically, anytime that you wanna be more present, offload the note-taking to your device, and you don't have to use a third-party app now. You can just embed this straight into Apple Notes. So I can pause that, I can resume, that's nice. because sometimes you don't want everything to be transcribed. So that's a very thoughtful feature. And when you're done, you can hit done, and that's just going to appear right inside your note there. Now, if I go back in and I start playing it, it's going to highlight every word as it plays back. Not only that, but if I want to jump to a specific part of the recording, I can just tap it and it will start playing. Now, if you tap on the three dots up in the top right corner, you got some options. Obviously, you can rename this, or you can say add transcript to note. You can copy the transcript. You can find something in that transcript. So let's say add transcript to note, and now that actually appears in my note, and I can come in and do all the formatting that I want to. So Apple Notes got some serious quality of life upgrades for sure, but it's not the only note-taking app. Freeform, one of my favorite apps that Apple ever created, also got some cool new features. I want to show one of those off right now. Again, you might be getting familiar with this. This is my life planning board that I demoed how to make in my Freeform Unleashed course, which is linked up down below if you want to see how to do it. But look at the bottom left corner of your screen. There's a new interface here, and it lets you add scenes, which you can think of as shortcuts to different sections of a board, which are going to help you navigate quickly around big boards. So I've got a couple of scenes set up here. Scene 1 just takes me to this life planner default screen here. Scene 2 is going to drop me down to the idea inbox, and then scene 3 is going to take me over to my daily review where I can look at my new and review items there. So it makes it really easy to go back and forth. There's some arrows here. If you want to go in order, you can come in and you can rearrange these scenes if you need them to appear in different orders. Like maybe you want to present this in a certain order. But one thing to know about this is that it also understands the zoom level. So wherever you create a new scene, let's say I want to zoom in on just this projects area. Okay, well, I go down here and I tap on the menu icon there and hit add scene. Well, now that project zoom in is a new scene. So if I go to my daily review and come back, it zooms right into that project section there. I don't know about you, but I've got some absolutely enormous freeform boards. It's like, here's an absolutely enormous board. It's so big that it almost causes some stutters. So, you know, maybe I want to look at these slides that I got down here. Well, it's very easy to expand the scene button there and come in and say, add a scene, and then get back out and maybe go visit another part of this, right? And add a scene there as well. And let's just add one more so you can see what this process actually looks like. I'll add that scene there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just jump between those scenes. You can see how smooth and quick it is to navigate around this enormous document. Again, I love Freeform. I live in it. If you want to see all my best tips and tricks that go way beyond the basics of Freeform, then make sure to check out Freeform Unleashed so you can unlock those hidden powers. It's linked up down below. Now, for the power users out there that have had some gripes over the way that the Files app works, this next new feature is going to really make a lot of people happy. So if I plug in this external drive here and I tap and hold on that LaCie drive, you're going to see that red option there. It says erase. Yes, it's true. You can now actually fully format an external drive without having to go to a Mac first. The Files app also got another really nice quality of life upgrade, which is the ability to long press on one of your files and say, keep downloaded. In the past, a lot of people found it to be a bit of a hassle when iCloud would try to offload some of their files in order to save some space to optimize storage. But now, thanks to this ability to keep downloaded, you can say, no, hold on, iCloud, I actually want that and I want it available all the time. And that brings us to some of the advanced home screen customizations. As you can see, this does not look like a typical iPad setup. Why is that? Well, first of all of the icons, all of the widgets, all kind of have a matching theme. That used to be something that would take you so long to manually sort of hack around to get it to look like that if you're really after that aesthetic. But now, if you long press on an empty space there, hit edit, you can go to customize, and you get this new option here, which is gonna let you change between light and dark mode automatically, stay in dark, stay in light, or go with a tint like you saw I just had set up there. You can also change how big or small your icons are. So with the tint there, I can just grab this slider and you can see I can change everything to match whatever particular color I might be in the mood for. And not only that, but you can kind of dial in how saturated that hue actually is. And if you want to color match to something very specific in your background, let's say you have a photo and it's got a flower and you want it to match exactly, you can grab this eyedropper and you can actually pick the exact color that you want to have show up with your color matching. Then at the top left there, if you want to make sure this is going to look good, whether it's in light or dark mode, you can just activate that as sort of a preview with that sun icon. Now in the past, if you added a widget, let's say the notes widget or the shortcuts widget, and you were like, I really wish that that was smaller or larger, you'd have to delete it and then go back in and re-add it at the new size. Well, now you can just long press on a widget if you want to edit it, and you can completely change the layout of what it looks like. So I can change it to small, I can change it actually all the way down to an icon, the actual app icon. So it really can transform and morph on demand now. And that's actually pretty useful. Something else a lot of people are going to be really excited about is the new control center here. I kind of feel like this is a second home screen, like a hidden out of the way home screen. You can really customize your home screen. Well, you can really customize this secondary home screen, which is really for more like utilities and shortcuts. So you can see I've got the screen recording going. I've got some note options, quick note and regular note. I've got my battery. I customize it with a button to disconnect from my personal hotspot when I'm out and about. I've added a timer button here now. So if you want to do some Pomodoro sessions, right? If you took my productivity course, you know what I'm talking about. That's easy to do. I can activate some background noise really easily as well if you don't want to use that triple tap functionality that I showed you how to do in the last iPad video. So just like on your actual home screen, you can long press and you can say add a control, or you can actually drag these around to make them bigger or smaller. So if I go to add a control, you can see all the things that are available. It's going to make some suggestions there for you, and then it's going to have some very specific categories that you can go into as well. But what's really neat here is that Apple gave you not just one control center screen, but multiple. So I can actually swipe through and I have a music panel. I've got a smart home panel. Now I'm going to grab the Apple Pencil again so we can talk about one of the most talked about features on iPadOS 18 for the iPad, which has to do with this new calculator icon down here. Yes, Apple brought a calculator to the iPad, and everyone used to make fun of them, like, why haven't they done it? And the response was always like, well, if we're gonna do it, we want it to be amazing. And Apple actually did find a way to make the calculator app truly amazing here. So there's a new math notes mode, and I can just go back to the basic calculator here if I want to. That looks goofy on the iPad, admittedly, but if I tap the calculator icon here, I can do scientific or math notes. Let's go to math notes. This is where you can use your Apple Pencil here. And I'm just gonna write out an equation here. Let's do something really simple and see how that works. I'm gonna write equals and boom, it solves it for me. Let's do something a little bit crazier. Now what's interesting is if you write something too big and it kind of goes off the screen, it solves it for you, but it's like, hey, you might wanna shrink that. It gives you the option, so I'm gonna bring this over here. So you can actually grab the selection tool and move this anywhere, and then that answer is gonna follow it around. The other interesting thing is I can grab one of these numbers, just tap on it, and I can change it. And as I change it, then the answer actually changes in real time, basically right there as well. I mean, you can get pretty complicated with this. Like I said, it's impressive. You can make charts, but this is called math notes for a reason. So you can still use the highlighter, for instance, the ruler, all of these different tools. And just like your regular Apple Notes, you've got this sidebar, and those notes are going to be stored here. You can rename those if you want to, and you can pin them just like in Apple Notes, lock them. If you want to split it off and have it go into a new window so you can be working two things side by side, you can do that. This doesn't necessarily seem like the app that people were begging Apple for. They wanted a calculator, but they weren't expecting this. And it does seem like one of those things that, hey, only Apple is going to do, right? Now, just in the course of filming this video, you might have noticed that the background continues to evolve and change. Well, that's because Apple's brought some dynamic wallpapers to iPadOS 18. So if you go to Settings Wallpaper, there's a whole new section with these new dynamic wallpapers, and you can see all the different options right out of the gate, but you can also have it just change throughout the day automatically to just kind of spice things up, I guess. It's not so static as you move throughout the day, and it kind of tells you that the day is moving along, the clock is ticking, and you better get some stuff done, including subscribing to this channel, number one, checking out the courses, number two, don't miss out on that pre-order opportunity. It's like getting 2 courses for the price of 1. You can dig into that productivity course right away, and you should if you haven't already. It's designed to help you get more done in less time in the Apple ecosystem, specifically with less burnout. But I would love to help you figure out how to shoot pro video from your iPhone so that it's good for marketing. It's good if you're trying to be an influencer and you have kind of a budget. Really, it's just a useful skill set to have, even if you just want to shoot better personal video of you and your family and friends. But I'll teach you how to shoot ProRes. I'll teach you how to shoot good B-roll. I'll teach you about lighting and all the basics that apply whatever camera you're using. I'll teach you how to fully utilize Apple's new Final Cut camera app, along with the new multi-cam iPhone shooting, which is enabled by Final Cut for iPad. If you can't tell, I'm excited about it. So check it out. It's linked up down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.